Hello everybody, welcome back to F&I Direct. I'm your host, Al Salas, and today we've put together a very exciting topic for your dealers out there that are struggling a little bit in F&I this month, and you've seen the numbers dip down a little bit. More importantly, so you're seeing your front-end profits just be a thing of the past, and they just keep going away and dwindling smaller and smaller and smaller. So I know this topic is very near and dear to a lot of our dealer partners, and that's why we put together a video series to be able to bring you the value so you can implement these strategies in your dealership immediately, and most importantly, be able to achieve our goal of helping 1,000 dealerships generate 30% or more in F&I. So when we get to it, the first best practice we're gonna talk about is creating a uniform process. See, when we talk about creating a uniform process, we're talking about three different things. We talk about the same products, all the products, all the time to all the customers. But also it goes into the offices itself. So if you have an office in your dealership, or multiple offices really, they should be set up similarly, if not the same, so that you can have quick integration from one person to the next. And especially when you're training a newbie and you're bringing them up to the ranks, it's important to have a uniform process to be able to plug and play these people. If you own a dealer group, it would be extremely helpful for you to be able to set up the same office setup in different dealerships or in your different locations, because this way you can actually take one person from this dealership and put them in here and vice versa. If your operation is a little bit smaller, then that's still very good opportunity to create a uniform process in your dealership. And what you should be talking about is those three things that we just talked about all the time. All the products, all the time, to all the customers. And that's very important. Not only that we do that, but also the way that we're presenting to our customers should be the same, because that's allowing you actually to track and follow through with the things that you've created with your team, meaning goals, which will be our second point. It's setting goals to your dealership. Moving targets are never a good thing. It's important for you to set a target and say, this is our goal, this is where we're headed, and this is how we're going to get there. And a lot of times your business managers will figure out exactly how to get there if you just give them that directive. Now, what we see is that there's a lot of emphasis in the front end of the deal, meaning how many cars we're gonna sell, how many appointments do we need in order to get those vehicles. But F&I is a lot of times left by the wayside to be figured out on its own, almost as if, whatever we get extra from there, it's gravy. Goals that we see are usually based around PRU, but PRU, guys, doesn't pay the bills. What the true number that should always be at the forefront of your dealership in regards to goals is profit. Total gross profit at the end of the month. That's what you take to the bank. That's what really matters, and that's how bills get paid. Most importantly, that's how you build wealth. So what you should be talking about in your meetings is how much gross profit we're going to shoot for this month, because what ends up happening is that, let's say that the units are a little light. If you have an F&I department driving towards a number, not a PRU, the units won't matter, because they might actually bump up the PRU or the production per se, and be able to provide more value to your customers, and most importantly, be able to hit that number goal for you. Also, in regards to setting goals, it's important to be able to set individual goals with each of your business managers and tie those goals back to really what matters to them is how they get paid and what they get out of the deal. See, obviously you're in business, we're in business to make money, right? And everybody knows that. But a lot of times in the automotive industry, we forget that the reason why people are in business is to make money for themselves, and forget to mention that when we're setting goals. When you tie the goal to something that's personal to that person, they are actually much more likely to hit those goals, surpass them, and most importantly, the respect that you gain is unbelievable in that point. Which brings us to the third point. and that is to be able to hold your team accountable for those goals. You should have weekly meetings to review where they're at, where they're going, and how we're gonna get there. Review their penetrations on VSCs, Gap, additional ancillary products that you have and the dealership in your particular store. And most importantly, really hone in on coaching the person, not just telling them, hey, you're doing a good job here or you're doing a poor job there. That's important, but it's also having a coaching moment. See what's in their head. Could they be having a personality conflict inside themselves? These are sometimes things that we might not pay a lot of attention to, but they do matter. They are important. In F&I, it's all a mental game, really. If you believe that you can do it, you will. And it's about our job as managers is to be able to raise that belief of that particular producer so that they can actually achieve the goals that not only you've set for them, but they've set for themselves. Number 4 is to encourage them to take responsibility. That goes both ways, guys. That goes for the wins and for the losses. When you have somebody saying, hey, I dropped the ball, that is the strongest type of commitment that you can have from an employee. But most importantly with that is that they're also taking responsibility for their success. And you're giving them that ability to take this responsibility by encouraging them. And that actually makes for a stronger employee, a stronger business manager, but it also makes for a stronger commitment to you, loyalty, continuing to produce more money for you a lot of times. That's what this is all about. So you invest a little bit of time up front, give them that ability to take responsibility, provide an environment that is safe for them to take that responsibility, where they're not going to be shunned or whatever the case might be. Now, there might be some repercussions, obviously, from the actions if it's something that they're taking responsibility for that's grave. But a lot of times when they're upfront with you and they tell you up front and you're not finding out, it's a lot more palatable and a lot easier to overlook. So keep that in mind. Encourage your people to take responsibility. And that ties right into the next topic, which is to be able to celebrate their wins. As coaches, we need to do a really good job with this. And that is when our team wins. Not only do we celebrate it ourselves because we were able to coach them through it, but it's taking the time to actually celebrate with them. If you set a big, hairy, audacious goal and all of a sudden your team hits it, well, reward them for it. That's very important. And a lot of times is overlooked in our business. So just wanted to give you that tidbit there. Ties right back into the next one, which is number 6, and is sharing their losses. Share what has happened to them, not only performance-wise, if for some reason they had a bad month, or encouraging them through that, but also if they're having could be having some personal issues going on. We encourage people to leave things at the door, but sometimes that's hard, especially when you have some family issues or something that's going on that's a little bit bigger than you. So we have to understand that we live our lives in the dealership and we're there all the time. So things might come up that might make it a little bit tricky to leave that outside the dealership. So as managers, coaches, general managers, we need to, and owners really, we need to take the time to sit down with our people and see what's going on in their lives. But more importantly, sharing their losses as well. Number 7 is to incentivize their performance. Now, it sounds silly that I'm even saying this, but you'd be surprised how many dealerships actually forget about this one particular piece. And I'm not talking about money here, guys. Money is only a way to transact. It's a means to an end. And let's face it, your business managers, if they're good, they're one of the highest paid employees that you have at your dealership. So money, although it's motivating, it's also fickle. It's temporary. What works best that we found is extra time off. If you give them an afternoon off, hey, Johnny, you did a great job last month. Today seems like we're a little slow. Why don't you take off for the night? That means so much more to a business manager and employee that I couldn't even put it in words exactly how that makes your people feel. Do some sort of an incentive outside of the dealership, whether it's a dinner, whether it's a convention or training program or something that they want to do that might benefit your dealership down the road, but also benefits that person's career for further performance. And that's ultimately going to help you a lot when you're trying to get goodwill from people and you're also building a team that is loyal, that is dedicated, hardworking, and also high performing. And number 8 is to continuously train your F&I team. I can't stress this enough, guys. You've seen me talking about this in previous videos. You're gonna see me talking about this moving forward. It's what we've built our whole company on, and it's truly what we believe the most. We find that F&I people, F&I teams are generally trained for a week, 2 weeks, and then forgotten about. It's almost like, here, there's the F&I sprinkle dust, and here, figure it out. Well, that doesn't necessarily work today, in today's day and age. You need to be able to provide continuous training to your people. And if you're not getting that from your agent, you need to be asking for it. If you're not getting that from your managers, from your finance directors, you need to be talking to them consistently about training, role-playing, talking to people. The world that we live in, the business that we live in, is an inherited business. There's no book that says how to do this perfectly. We're constantly picking up things from one person to the next person to the next person. So it's very, very, very important to continuously share ideas and to remove a lot of those walls in between offices. And by that I mean that you might have a top performer here and a low performer here in 2 different offices in your dealership. And that shouldn't be. That top performer should be spending time with that low performer and really incentivizing that teamwork in F&I. We encourage it very, very much so, and the benefits that you will get as an owner or a general manager or general sales manager for that matter of having a cohesive team of F&I people, it's unbelievable. Really, it's people that are gonna stand for each other, people that are gonna cover each other's backs, people that are gonna be able to profit on each other's deals, which ultimately benefits you. And in this business, especially in the F&I office, could be a little cutthroat because people look at each other as competition, but it shouldn't be. I mean, it's all one pool, and it's all going to the same pool in the sense of the profitability to the dealer. So they need to start looking at the position, and this goes again into training. They gotta look at the position as something greater than themselves, not just, hey, I'm spinning this deal and I'm making some money. I'm contributing to the community of the dealership. I'm contributing to what we're doing here. And I see the greater vision that this owner, this general manager, this general sales manager, this sales manager is putting forth in front of me. Most importantly, as owners, you have to share that vision with them and continuously train them on that vision so that they can buy into the whole teamwork idea and be able to benefit you as the owner, or not just you, but your dealership, your organization, for the longevity and the domination in the market, which is what it's all about. But there you have it, guys. It is the 8 best practices that you can do in your dealership to help increase your profitability this month. If you have any questions, feel free to post a comment below or wherever you're seeing this, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, we're all over the media, but really post a comment, post a question, shoot me a private message, and I'll be more than happy to spend some time with you going over what you can do in your store, in your particular situation, to be able to increase the profits. I'm over now. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.